respected Director of the conference, Dr. M.G. Srikumar, Plenary Chair Sri Giridhar Kunkur, and all the office bearers of LIS Academy, Bangalore. I am Ravi Shankar Giri from Presidency University, Kolkata. Today I am going to deliver my views on technological advancement and innovation in library from a librarian's perspective. We all aware that there is rapid development in information and communication technology. It's a kind of disruptive technology. There is hardly any sphere left in our life that has not been affected by this revolutionary technology. So, libraries and librarians do not remain aloof of this technological development. Rather, they began exploring the possibilities of applying this technology for better management of library services. Today, with internet, laptop, and mobile communication technology, the whole information ecosystem has completely changed. The way we generate information, the way we share information, the way we access information. This completely differs from the pre-internet era. There is an increasing tendency of the youths that they prefer to hook on web or Google rather than coming to the library. Though they do not know how to search, who to believe, whom to trust. I believe if the librarians could not reach them in time and in need, it will threaten the very fabric of our civilization. Today's library status is no longer defined by its size of collection, rather how it extends to include online and seamless access to information resources, the right amount of information at the right time. Like any other technology, ICT has bring challenges as well as enormous opportunity for librarians. If we observe the information landscape, we see there is a growing number of e-contents, there is a growing number of dispersed users, as well as growing demand of instant service. Technological development has thus thrown us a challenge. How could we reach them efficiently by meeting their information need effectively, irrespective of their geographical location? In order to divide the library function or innovation system, I have broadly categorized the activities and services into three categories. One is the in-house service and in-house management, service management, and proactive reaching or library marketing. From the management of point of in-house activities, we see that we earlier used the library management system. Most of us use either cataloging and the circulation system. With the passage of time, the workflow between different modules get much more user-friendly, and people now use the integrated library management system. Those who use the Libsys, they know how many versions are there, and in a very short time span, the new versions came because of the development of this rapid development of this information and communication technology. However, when the Web 2 comes, librarians all like to experiment with the open source software. The open source community grows, vendor participate, developer participated. As a result, the open source alternative become bloomed. So nowadays, many of us use either Koha or NewJetLib, the Indian open source library automation software. Or in USA, many libraries use Evergreen system. Many libraries do not have the technological infrastructure to use this open source software or the proprietary software. So they do not have also the adequate manpower. So they may hook on cloud service. As the technological advancement is there, many vendors provide the cloud-based management of the libraries services. Similarly, with the advancement in mobile communication technology, we found that many of the library software module in app-based system we can access. For example, in our library, we use many of the users use that our OPAC module so that they can access OPAC from anytime, anywhere from their mobile devices. From the in-house management point of view, there is another area. The security and management system is another area. Earlier, you used the barcoding technology. Many libraries now shifted to the RFID technology, and Many use the CCTV based surveillance system. For example, we use the CCTV based surveillance system. Then coming to the in-house management to service management, we all know OPAC is the main pivotal interface for the users to interact with the library. Earlier, we use OPAC for some standalone machine or from 3-4 designated terminals. With the passage of time and the rapid development in the information communication technology brings the web OPAC so that people can access web OPAC from anywhere at any time. Gradually, it becomes an interactive OPAC. This is inspired by the Web 2 features. For example, this is an Web 2 OPAC this is the OPAC of the viewfind. Here you can find that users can comment on a particular information resources. The expert comment can be helpful for the teachers, for the other users to identify the good books. Similarly, they can tag as well as they can cite this, text this, everything that can be possible through the OPAC. Another advantage of this Web 2 interactive OPAC that we can get the virtual self. The virtual self that is through similar items system, that is the virtual self they provide. They also integrated the Google Book Preview along with the book jacket that will helpful for the users in a very useful way. To provide seamless service, library introduced the e-contents in the library. So to get the more bargaining power, they form the e-consortium. However, from the user point of view, if we see that now there is an enormous e-contents, every publisher are now providing e-contents, either e-journals, e-books or e-database. So to find an information, an user has to navigate to the different websites or different publishers' websites or different so it is very difficult and cumbersome for the users. For example, in our library, we use e-resources from about 41 publishers. So to navigate with all the websites of all the publishers, it is very difficult. For searching through the single gateway can be helpful. Earlier we use federated search, but now single gateway search interface has come. EBSCO Discovery, someone rules the market. Viewfind is the open source alternative for the single gateway search. My colleague or another eminent speaker will speak on details on the single gateway search interface. In order to provide easy access, most of the publishers actually give the access to the e-resources, that is IP-based access, so that people can access the e-resources from the campus. But the users is dispersed. They want information from home. As a solution, single sign-on system based on Shibboleth or Athens authentication technology comes. Many use EJET proxy server from OCLC. Some use the virtual private network. Many of the libraries do not have the infrastructure to use the EJET proxy or the VPN service. They may hook on the remote access. This is developed in India. This is the cloud-based service and very useful for getting remote access. Virtual reference service is another service. Earlier question point from OCLC is there that has been taken by the SpringShare and it is renamed as the LiveAnswer from the SpringShare. The free alternative to the LiveAnswer is the Talk2. So the virtual reference service help the users to get 24/7 answers from the library. Then, if we think about library resources, we have print resources, we have subscribed content, different contents, as well as the open source software. So it is the duty of the libraries to provide a comprehensive guide to all these resources. In order to do that one, many libraries use the dynamic library web page for guiding their library resources as well as research resources like subject guides. For that purpose, Joomla, Drupal, they use the content management software. LibGuides is another proprietary software from SpringShare that is very helpful and very useful and user-friendly. Many Western libraries use LibGuides for describing all these resources for their library resources. Use of social media tools. Use of social media tools are used to reach proactively to the library user. For that one, They use the social networking like Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter for content communities, YouTube, Flickr, or SlideShare. But it has been seen that use of the social media for the library is very less in India. The recent investigation by Dr. Swapan Kumar Patra in the paper published in the Annals of Library and Information says it is found that only a few libraries in India use Twitter. But my own investigation, use of social media in library has shown that it will be very much useful to attract the users. This paper has been published in the World Digital Library, and this is based on the real-time experiment with our library. Libraries are no more the only information provider. They are now the active partner of the research management, and increasing the visibility of the research resources. So they empower the users about providing training on the reference management software, because reference management is very much required in this age of information explosion to avoid accidental plagiarism. So they provide training on the Mendeley, Zotero, and for the proprietary on the EndNote. Identity management, unique identity management is one of the gray area in the research management. So, for example, using ORCID, personal ORCID, or the institutional ORCID is important in nowadays. So we train people why to use the ORCID or usefulness of using the identity management, unique identity management for enhancing the research visibility. In the academic marketplace, citation plays the dominant role for career advancement. So how to be more cited, how to increase the visibility of a researcher. We, the librarian, train them to use the ResearchGate, Academia U, or OpenRev. These are the post-publication social networking, research social networking site to help to increase the visibility of your research. Besides that one, librarians developed institutional repository using DSpace, ePrints, Greenstone to increase the visibility of research. However, from the management point of view, if we see, it is very difficult to manage all these things for a library. For example, you have a DSpace that is in Linux platform in another server. You have in library automation software in another server. You have content management in another server or another platform. So these everything get dispersed. In order to streamline all these things, there is an important project that come from 2016 that is called Folio, with huge investment from the EBSCO and Open Library Environment and Index Data. This is a lightweight platform has been developed. This will support all the functionalities of library as an apps. It is based on the very much modular service architecture. Competing apps may be created to suit local needs. Moreover, this is not based on a particular data structure. For example, we use the Mark 21 for the library cataloging. However, linked data is the future. Folio's inventory system can manage Mark 21 as well as the linked data system simultaneously. This is the Folio architecture that I have taken from Folio site. They have the system layer. System layer is nothing but the database, the SQL, different database can be managed. Okapi is the communication gateway. This is the message bus between different, this is a multi-tenant system. So from the different, Okapi is the communication bus, and apps for different activities and services can be made. The user interface toolkit helps the access to the users. You can modify any apps, or you can customize apps according to your needs. You can also, user interface can be modified according to their needs. So what I want to say, that library and librarians are not never shied away from anything, the technology. Rather, they have tried to innovate the system in a way that can encourage technological adoption within their limitation. They never show complacency in this age of disruptive technology. But innovation in library, any innovation needs substantial investment. But the market size of library technology is not much, and investments still lag behind. Thank you. Thank you, all of you.